All right, we're here. We're back at Modcup. We're back at Modcup. I'm here with Shiv. Illegal coffee. A very illegal coffee.
The watermelon from Campo Hermosa, Colombia.
We want to talk a little bit about these illegal coffees today. You know, I'm a clean wash coffee guy, but it's interesting to see what exists out there in the world. And if you're curious about opening a bag of coffee, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but
You hear the hissing.
you hear the hissing. And eventually we're going to get to smell it, because
Smell it.
look at that. Wow. Crazy, but look at that. So this is what we would classify as illegal because it has been greatly processed. But
if you smell this, like you could smell the watermelon in it. Like,
yeah, I mean, it smells like, I smell the watermelon.
there we go. But you could see here.
Oh, yeah, that still smells
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
Holy sh! It smells like yogurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
It smells like yogurt, man.
Smells like fruit yogurt.
Yeah, like strawberry Yoplait or something. That's crazy. Yeah, so we got two very different co-fermented coffees.
Lychee.
The interesting thing at an initial smell between those two coffees is the lychee smells a lot cleaner, a lot more regular. You can smell the co-ferment,
Yeah.
but the
The
watermelon smells cleaner. Yeah, the watermelon smells way cleaner. The lychee, it's got that like very, I don't know, I don't want to say fake smell to it, but like
It's a process.
clearly processed. Yeah.
So I've gotten the luxury to taste both of these. The watermelon, clean, juicy, kind of doesn't feel like a co-ferment really. The lychee is funky, smacks you in the mouth kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm used to.
yeah. So wait till we have some of this roasted. We're gonna show you just the green, and then we'll show you the roasted, and then we're gonna try it.
Yeah, and we'll taste it. And we'll taste it with Shiv and Trav as
Yes,
well. So
yes.
we're going to go and do that.
All right.
All right.
On the way to Hoboken.
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to go to the new cafe. So we've been here before. You can see the Modcup video we shot where we did a tour of this shop and this roastery. They opened up a new cafe, which is in Hoboken. And that's what we're going to go do now. So we're going to go and taste these coffees there, because it's just interesting to talk about processing, especially these very deeply processed coffees, because again, I do think they serve a very unique purpose in getting people to understand and appreciate the flavors of coffee. It's like, wow, coffee has fruits in it. But sometimes, you know, they can go too far. Sometimes there are things that are just done and you don't know what is exactly done. And that's the thing that we always get questioned about. It's like, what is legal or illegal? What is allowed in today's world, right? And there's so many complex questions, but what we want to talk about a little bit more today is, you know, taste. What is the actual impact in the cup? And we're going to go ahead and do that.
All right.
All right, this is the new shop.
It's a new shop, Hoboken.
Okay, and we got the goods.
We got the goods. Lychee, watermelon. So what's cool about this location is Church Square Park is one of the biggest parks in Hoboken, very populous. People are running in and out. School here, so as you see, there's a kid licking the front of the door right here. But Church Square Park always has like food vendors around. In summer it gets really popping. So it's a really good location. One of the things that's been going crazy, one of the things that's been flying here is our seasonal cold brews, which we've done lychee, strawberry, and our Kyoto blend. Like cold brews just flying off the shelf here. So it'll be good to do a couple of these here over ice, and look who it is. The man of the
There
hour
he
as
is.
we're recording it. Are you ready to be in camera?
I am here with Travis. You've seen him before. This is the new shop. We're going to go and do a little quick tour of the new shop here.
Yes.
And then we'll talk a little bit about illegal coffee.
Like my favorite kind of coffee.
All right, let's go in and take a look at what's new.
Welcome. So, you coming in, sir?
This Shiv.
This is our third store.
Oh, he's
And just like our first store, this used to be a dog washing shop. Apparently, we go after dog washing stores. It's a takeout bar right across from the park. The usual things to expect from us: box retail coffees, cold brews in cans. We've gone with 2 single brew espresso machines here for the first time ever.
2 San Remo U's.
Yeah, we really like the. We find them fun. You can do lots of tricks, and they're very fun and playful to work with. Our baristas tend to really enjoy working with them. So it's the first time we've gone in with 2 single brews, as opposed to 1 giant machine. Lower profile allows them to talk easy to customers too. No Modcup would be complete without a funky mirror or some kind of funky shit that's in there.
Yeah, look at this.
Bad boy here that changes colour depending on your mood from day to day. That's planning to be a takeout window at some point.
Oh wow, okay. That'd be awesome.
Yes, people can grab and go. Some funky bricks as always. We like our funky brick action, just like with a roastery. Grain control, EK. There's an X bloom in here somewhere as well.
There is an X bloom there.
Somewhere that we play with too, yeah. Some little figurines. Oh, this is fun. This is a photograph of this town, Hoboken, where we started the company with a little espresso cart when we did a lot of illegal coffee because it was all roasted in a garage.
Literally illegal.
Real illegal coffee. And that was the little cart with the on the Hoboken waterfront right there.
Wow.
Of course, Hoboken is a coffee town. It used to house Maxwell House, so it has a long history of being a coffee roasting town. So we like to feel that we'll just add in a little modern interpretation.
Yeah, so this is a smaller, quicker shop than the other shop.
Correct. Yeah, it's takeout bar. Yeah. Space is a premium in this town and expensive, like most East Coast inner city areas. The price per square feet's high, and so for us to have a larger space and keep the cost where we need to be as business, having a seat in there wasn't really possible.
Yeah.
And so we have a dry park outside instead where you can grab your coffee. And we have a little bench, a little orange bench you can sit on outside too when you pass.
Yeah. But still, you have everything listed out here, right?
Yeah, philosophy as a roaster. We like fruit forward, different, what we consider to be expressive coffees. That's not to say we don't darker coffees too, we do. But we do as a roaster focus on expressive, vibrant, fruit forward coffees.
Yeah. Cool.
And it's got a different look as well in here. We've gone for more of a sort of a Casa modified.
Yeah. Yeah, no, your bike isn't here.
No vintage Teslas in this one, mate. No.
Yeah, well, let's go back there and let's talk a little bit about some coffees.
So here is what I think is what really good co-fermented coffee should be. I realise that they're diversive co-ferment coffees, and some people love them or you hate them, a little bit like Marmite, as we would say in England. But I think that when co-fermented coffees are done really well, they can be like next level. Super different flavour experiences and showcase to a customer base the potential of perhaps what coffee can be.
Yes.
I brought down from the roastery here 2 examples of co-fermented coffees in their green form. One, both honey process, both pink bourbon varietals, and again gone through the same processing, honey process. One, in my opinion, that's been processed really well and therefore displays clean, beautifully vibrant fruit-forward cup. The other one has had difficulty in the processing. You can see that just by looking at it.
Yeah, so one that is a good example, one's that, maybe not so good of an example, because this is an example of if you go too far, or it's just, this is what happens. So can we talk a little bit about, what makes this good and maybe what makes this not as good?
Well, from talking to the producer of this specific co-ferment, they had problem with humidity and they had problem with rain in the past season, and it led to a really uneven processed coffee, and you would see it.
Yes. Yeah, so very, very different colors, but the smell of it is just like, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but it's just, I'm only getting that co-ferment, that very clear co-ferment smell.
Yes.
I'm just smelling only processing.
Correct, 100%. It smells, if you, for want of a better word, a little vinegary, super fermented.
Yeah.
Whereas this, when you opened it up, immediately smelled vibrant, fresh, and you could also distinctly smell the fruit that it had been co-fermented with.
This I smell that there's separation.
Correct.
Right? This is only the processing. there is separation here, at least
Yeah.
when I smell this.
Yeah.
And I think that this was to me a little overpowering. We were with Shiv a little bit earlier, and we were smelling these coffees. Like, what is happening with this? It's so powering. But this one here is, a cleaner presentation. It's like, this is how you can have co-ferments and elevate coffee quality.
Agreed. And on that point of elevating coffee quality as well, I realize that, again, that these illegal coffees are disruptive to the coffee industry. They are diversive in the coffee industry. But I feel that when they're done well, the customers are really reacting positive. Positive.
Yeah, they like it, right?
They like it, yeah. And I also feel that it allows producers to perhaps increase their price value on a varietal that perhaps wouldn't command the price point that they're asking these.
Right.
And if a producer's making more money, for want of a better word, by pimping a varietal that perhaps wouldn't have that price point normally, then I don't see how that can be anything but a positive disruption.
Like, I'll come from the coffee enthusiast perspective. They look at coffees like this and they're like, this is not allowed, right? A lot of people really like clean wash coffees only, right? There are some people that I know, they don't even want to drink naturals, right? But this is the type of thing is how do you get to be a coffee enthusiast in the first place, right? A lot of that times, the first experience you get is from a natural or a processed anaerobic. Nowadays, what's wrong with this if it gets people in the door, right? And it's done well, right? This is done
100%.
well.
If it's done well, and you can try this in a second.
Yeah, well, we'll taste it in a little, yep.
It's clean. It displays those really unique characteristics that co-ferments showcase. And it invites more people to the party, in my opinion, is the point, Brian, right? And if I can get more people to try a impeccably washed, impeccably produced geisha coffee, the more people that can try that,
Right.
the better.
Yeah, and this can do that, right? This gets people in the door.
It's like the gateway for me to then open a conversation
Yeah.
for people to try. Well, this is impeccably washed and impeccably sourced and impeccably produced, and the varietal shines through. But that conversation, I've got to start with you to begin with, right? And I often find that's a really difficult conversation to start with a newbie in coffee without me first going, coffee can be this, do you like that? They understand the taste. They're like, holy shit, that tastes like peach. I like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, I find them really positive for my business to bring newbies to the door and get them excited about coffee.
Yeah, and even I would argue, look, I'm a clean wash guy. We're gonna taste these coffees. I'll give you guys my opinions on these. But if it's done in this sort of way, and you can understand what has been done to the coffee, and it's not overly done, it is something that you can enjoy. I can appreciate what this is doing. I can't drink it every day, all day, every day, but I can enjoy it sometimes. And we're gonna go and taste these now, and we'll give you guys our thoughts on them.
Yeah, look, it's not something I'm going to drink every day. Either, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not something I'm going to go to first thing in the morning and say, give me that watermelon co-ferment. You know what I mean? But like, if it's banging hot outside, do it iced.
Iced, it's pretty good. And we have an iced, this is an iced watermelon of it.
Movie magic.
Yeah, movie magic. There we go. There's the iced watermelon. Let's start with this, and we can taste it and talk a little bit more about what we're experiencing, especially when it comes to processing. A lot of the times with these co-fermented coffees, the co-ferment level, in my opinion, is what is it covering up, right? But what I've experienced and smelling this coffee is that I think that it's not really covering up anything. It's really elevating, enhancing, right? So let's see if that makes it into the cup here. So cheers. Taste it. Oh wow! I mean, it smells. So I smell the co-ferment. I smell that there's that perfuminess from the co-ferment. But from a flavor perspective, okay, this is interesting. It tastes like watermelon juice. So this is a watermelon co-fermented coffee. So it better taste like watermelon, right? That's the first start of it. It tastes like watermelon, but I can still tell this is coffee.
Correct.
I'm not the coffee flavor, if you will, is not really covered up.
It's not sauce, covered in sauce.
Right. I think of it like steak or Wagyu.
Yeah.
Do you really want to put A1 sauce on Wagyu?
Right? Yeah, of course, yeah.
right? But with some varietals, yeah, fine, it makes sense. If you have a lower quality something, you put some sauce on it, or lower quality meat, right? You put some sauce in it, tastes great, right? But there are some varietals, like I believe these are pink Travas. Yeah. It's like, this is a varietal where it's like, it's good washed, it's good natural, you can co-ferment it, it's very flexible. And in this case, I'm not losing out on what pink Bourbon is supposed to taste like. But I do tell that outside of that, there is this additional layering of co-ferment, right? And it's watermelon. So it's kind of interesting. It's like, this is what, when we say watermelon pink Bourbon, this is literally what this tastes like. That's currently what I'm experiencing. Maybe we'll taste a little more.
Yeah, there's some structure to it.
Right. I'm getting that punchiness of pink Bourbon, but it's like within the context of watermelon. When I think about processed coffees, or not even processed coffee, like you think about funky naturals, this is actually less funky than some of those funky naturals, right? And that's interesting because
Cleaner.
Yeah, this is cleaner, right? And this is interesting. This is where it's like processing, elevating something, right?
I would agree with you entirely on that. Yeah, it's good actually.
This is actually really good. Yeah.
The first time I had this coffee was at SCA because DAC had it.
DAC, okay.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit, that's nice.
Yeah, and it's just like, this is what, in my opinion, processing should do, right? It's like processing should elevate things. I just dislike processing that covers up too much stuff, right? It's like plastic surgery, right? I don't necessarily like that in my coffees.
It isn't grindy. Like sometimes with the co-ferments, it can be a little. You're tasting like the outside skin of the fruit rather than the sweet fleshy component.
Yeah. The other thing I've also experienced with a lot of co-ferments is cheese, like a cheesiness aspect to it. It's like,
so it's about that much.
Yeah, we have talked about that in a previous video. It's like some of these co-ferments are pushed so far out that what you experience in cup is kind of a cheesiness in the end, and then if you mess up brewing, if you push it too far, the cheese becomes bitter, and it's like, it's not bitters from over extraction, it's bitters from processing, and that's kind of an interesting thing. But I quite like this, and I think this, when you look at the coffee here and you smell the green coffee, it makes sense that this can translate into the cup here, where this is just...
Because it looks...
Right,
it's been processed.
Right, it's been processed well. I mean, you could smell it too, right? It's like, this is something where if the roaster does it justice, which you guys have done a good job roasting this, these properties here are making it into the cup, right? And we're not experiencing anything, too far in one direction. We want to start off with this because we said, like, this is what it can be, but here's the comparison point, and then we can also taste these iced, because, that's where I think co-ferments do a really good job. I love iced co-ferment coffee.
I think that's really where they showcase best.
Yeah, see, it's just like little, you can see my facial expression, but it's like a little too pungent. It's just like, what is happening here? It's like, just, ugh.
It's gnarly is the word I would use.
Gnarly, yeah. The thing is like, again, coffee is subjective, and some people might be very into this, but here we go.
We used to have a coffee back when we first started that we used to buy from Barney, right? And it was the most uneven natural processed coffee I've ever seen. We used to spend like an hour sorting Quakers out of it, and it would still taste peanutty from cup to cup, right? And then other cups, it'd be incredible strawberry chocolate. But if you got some Quakers, it was horrendous.
Yeah.
And it comes from, in my opinion, the cherry picking there.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the processing, but the point is that the green coffee used to look a little gnarly. Like,
yeah.
But some people loved it.
Right.
They adored that coffee. Yeah. And they even liked it when it was peanutty as well.
Yeah, so taste is very subjective, right? And it's just like, what is right and wrong nowadays, right? We don't know. It's so preferential, right? Because I bet you we give this to somebody, they would hate it and they would love this, right? It's like nobody knows it. We now have this other coffee. Let's give it wow, okay. Whoa. How do I describe this? So a lot of the gnarliness of this coffee, it's definitely getting into the coffee.
Yeah, for sure it is. It's so perfumey.
It's just covered up. I get processing and that's all. Like I get processing and I do not taste coffee at all. I know some people might like this, but I'm like, man, what happened? It's like they left it in too long, or they processed it for too long. Like this is what this tastes like.
Yeah. It's all source.
It is co-ferment, right? Like this tastes like co-fermented coffee, but maybe not co-fermented coffee, just co-fermented.
Just co-fermented. Yeah.
Compare it to this, right? Again, both of these are co-ferments, right? We're trying to say, look, there's a little more complexity when we talk about co-ferments, or it's not just like all bad, right? You shouldn't write it all off, right? They're like, this is the watermelon here.
Go back to it now.
We'll go back to it. Right. There is depth to this coffee. There is complexity to this coffee. Yes, it's co-fermented, but it's not so simple, right? I'm not only tasting processing. I'm tasting layering. There's more depth.
Yeah, it's not just a 1-2 punch.
Right.
Process. You've got various things happening.
Yeah, and even as this cools, it's just like I'm not really. You would expect more coffee flavor, more of the varietal to come out, because this is also a pink bourbon, right? You would expect that PB flavor to come out a little bit more, but it's just covered up by the processing, right? And that's the thing we're trying to just talk a little bit about is like, explore this topic of co-ferment a bit more.
The same way, right? You can say that the same way, like you were just saying about naturals too, right? Some naturals are so overly fermented that again, it's just all source.
Right.
There's no layering or depth.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you should write all naturals off, because some naturals are processed better, cleaner than others.
Right. And some people might prefer this cup over this cup. Right, that's just how it is. The issue with all this is it's still subjective, right? Yes. It's still like you might just like this more than this. Now let's just taste it iced, because this is what I love. Co-fermented iced coffee, cold brew. It really shines, because you're drinking something. You're like, wow, it's just so refreshing. There's no sugar or anything added to it. And you're like, this is insane. So I have the watermelon iced. I'm gonna give this a real quick taste. This is a nice, refreshing iced coffee, but it's just boosted up a little bit by that co-ferment. And that's like, this is incredibly refreshing. It's like I'm drinking watermelon juice, but I get caffeine.
Yeah, that's good.
This is great. Now let's taste this one iced. Yeah, I mean, this sounds a little, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of this. I'm tasting like processed iced water, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
that'd be a good word for it. Yeah.
In an iced coffee, a lot of stuff does get covered up because it's iced, but it's just like there's more stuff from the coffee, more information, more detail from the coffee of this coffee that makes it into the iced brew versus this. Despite I think this is a significantly better iced than hot.
Yes.
But it's still the same kind of effect where a lot of that processing is just
still making
its way through. I don't personally like it as much.
What's not subjective is the color difference.
Oh yeah. The color difference is definitely there if you look at these two coffees, right? Yes, that is subjective as well, right? Nowadays, I mean, to be fair, if you look at coffees nowadays, there's so many different processing methods to it. You're looking at, specific color, even roasted coffee, right? We look at roasted coffee where like, oh, why does it look uneven? And then it could be like, that's the processing, right? That's like how the coffee was fermented. So, a lot of this is subjective.
Like I was saying to you, I find all processed coffee to be, if it's done well, a great way to engage a customer in a discussion that brings them to the table.
Yes.
On specialty coffee, I've always thought that way from the moment that we sold coffee off of a cart on the side of the street here in Hoboken, and we primarily sold naturals. I always saw them as a way to start a conversation.
Yeah.
Because a consumer can tell that it's markedly different from what they're used to from coffee.
Yeah. I mean, both of these coffees are significantly different than what most people are drinking. It's just there are different levels to it, right? That's all that's going on here, right? Maybe to the hardcore coffee nerd, they're not going to like
either.
They're not gonna like either. I was going to say, oh, they're not going to like this one, but yeah, or they'll like this one a little more. But yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's subjective, but I will, from a pure flavor perspective, a lot of these co-ferments do do something, and I think they're just way easier for the normal person to taste. I really think they are.
That's the thing for me. As you said, it can start a conversation. I just remember the first time I showcased washed coffees to friends of mine in England when I told them I was doing it. And it's a tea drinking nation, of course, and I gave them like a really delicate washed coffee, and they'd be like, tastes like tea.
It tastes like a badly brewed tea.
Right. And then when I gave them like a natural, they were like, oh, that's interesting. Kind of tastes like X or Y.
Right.
They could understand it, and therefore a conversation was opened, and I wasn't dismissed.
Yeah.
Is the point.
I hope this was interesting. I mean, I love talking about processing, and I really just wanted to show these kind of examples off. And I wanted to do this tasting with Travas here because, I think Travas and Modcup, they're just experts at these types of coffee. So the coffee that we are talking about is this one. And if you want to pick up coffees that are similar, you can go to the Modcup website. They got this cool program, this new cool program called Deep Cuts, where you can get onto it and you can get kind of these really special coffees like this watermelon co-fermented. I mean, again, the cool thing with the Modcup coffees is look at this packaging, beautiful artwork, information on the coffee here, and this is the coffee we're tasting here, which is this watermelon co-ferment. Might not be available by the time we release the video, but
that's kind of why we have these things in the Deep Cut program is that they're very limited in the amount of these that we can pick up.
Right. Yeah, I
Like
mean,
we were discussing before, they're not in large amounts that producers are making.
there's only so much of this coffee, but if you guys did want to try some of these coffees, I mean, not all of your coffees are co-fermented on
No,
Deep Cuts, right?
no.
This was a really good example of a
Yes.
co-ferment, so it was on Deep Cuts, right? This is a good example of it. So there are going to be some very interesting coffees that you can pick up, but this is just super nice to be able to experience a co-ferment that has so much more information on it, but also taste it next to
I was happy that I could show you that. We could discuss why certain co-ferments are doing what they should do, and
Right.
also elevate is the word.
Right, I like the word elevate,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But, that's how it is. We just wanted to show off these coffees, taste them. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for spending time to watch this video. If you guys are in town, check out this shop, Hoboken Modcup, brand new shop. It's a nice shop to be in a nice area. And
We're across from the park. Brian, thanks for coming down as always, mate.
Thank
Really
you so
nice to
much.
see you. Thank
All
you.
right.
Pleasure.
See you later.
Thank you.